For years, many shoppers have stood in supermarket aisles wondering the same thing. Why are some eggs brown, others white? Does the colour actually matter? It's a question that has sparked myths, marketing campaigns, and even recent headlines here in the United Kingdom. So let's crack open the facts. The first thing to understand is that the colour of an eggshell is determined almost entirely by the breed of hen that lays it. In simple terms, different chickens produce different coloured eggs. White feathered breeds such as Leghorns typically lay white eggs, while breeds such as Rhode Island Reds usually lay brown eggs. Some specialist breeds can even produce blue or green eggs. The shell colour comes from natural pigments added during the final stages of egg formation. Brown eggs receive a pigment called protoporphyrin, while blue eggs contain a different pigment called biliverdin. The egg itself, however, develops in exactly the same way, regardless of shell colour. This brings us to one of the most persistent myths about eggs. Many people believe brown eggs are healthier, more natural, or somehow superior to white eggs. In reality, scientific studies have consistently shown that brown and white eggs are nutritionally almost identical. The shell colour has no meaningful effect on protein levels, vitamin content, mineral content, or overall quality. A brown egg isn't healthier simply because it's brown, and a white egg isn't less nutritious because it's white. The nutritional value depends far more on what the hen eats, how it is raised, and whether it has access to sunlight and outdoor environments. For example, hens fed rich diets in omega-3 fatty acids can produce eggs with higher omega-3 levels, regardless of shell colour. Similarly, free-range hens exposed to sunlight may produce eggs with higher vitamin D levels. But what about taste? Here again, shell colour is largely irrelevant. Blind taste tests and food experts generally find no consistent flavour difference between brown and white eggs. Factors such as freshness, the hen's diet, and storage conditions can influence flavour, but the colour of the shell itself does not. That said, perceptions can be powerful. Some consumers genuinely believe that brown eggs taste richer and farm fresh. Others prefer white eggs because they appear cleaner or more uniform. Interestingly, online discussions show that these preferences often vary by country and culture rather than any measurable difference in the eggs themselves. Another common question is why brown eggs often cost more, and the answer isn't because they're better. Brown egg-laying hens are generally larger birds that require more feed and resources. As a result, producing brown eggs can be slightly more expensive. The higher retail price usually reflects production costs rather than superior quality. The UK's relationship with egg colour is particularly fascinating. Today, many British shoppers associate brown eggs with traditional farming and natural production, but that wasn't always the case. White eggs were common in Britain until the 1970s, when consumer preferences shifted towards brown eggs, partly because they were perceived as being more wholesome and natural. Over time, brown eggs became dominant on the supermarket shelves. Recently, however, white eggs have been making a comeback. Many consumers have noticed increasing numbers of white eggs appear in major supermarkets, and online discussions suggest that shoppers are becoming less concerned about shell colour and more interested in price, sustainability and availability. And that brings us to the latest headlines. In June 2026, Sainsbury's announced that it would gradually switch its own brand egg range to white eggs as part of its sustainability and net zero strategy. The supermarket cited research suggesting that white eggs can have a lower carbon footprint because the hens that lay them tend to be smaller, require less feed, produce less waste, and often have longer productive lifespans. According to the assessment commissioned by the retailer, white eggs showed carbon footprints around 12.7% lower than brown eggs. Importantly, Sainsbury's and the researchers involved stressed that the nutritional quality and taste remain the same. The change is about environmental impact rather than food quality. So, what should consumers really look for when buying eggs? The evidence suggests that shell colour should be near the bottom of the list. Instead, consider factors such as freshness, whether the eggs are free-range, organic or pasture-raised, the diet and welfare of hens, sustainability credentials, and price and value. These factors can influence the eating experience far more than whether the shell happens to be brown or white. In the end, the great brown versus white egg debate has a surprisingly simple answer. The shell colour is largely a matter of chicken genetics. The taste is essentially the same. The nutritional value is essentially the same. And as UK supermarkets increasingly embrace white eggs once again, consumers may soon discover that what matters most isn't the colour of the shell, but the quality of what lies inside.